Welcome to Actual Play, where we're going to play Mothership, the sci fi horror game, where it's survive, solve, or save, but you only get to pick one. The proceeds for the Actual Play channel, they're split between the Trans Legal Defense Fund and the Black Lives Matter. So when you cheer and subscribe and all those good things, that's where the money goes. How are things with you, Jen?
I'm great. You didn't introduce yourself, Jay, is the
I
thing.
did not. Oh, it's my birthday, so
No.
You could have passed on intros for your birthday.
that's my.
On your birthday, your intro is even more important.
Gotcha. That was gonna be my excuse. So I'm Matt J. I'm going to run Mothership today. This is also my debut Twitch run. We're hiding Sean, but he's not far away. So you can find me on Twitter at MadJ0, and I'm excited. We're gonna play on Mars today, and I'm excited to do some of this sci-fi horror stuff. So I want to see where we go with it.
I'm Jen. I use she, her pronouns. You can find me on Twitter at 10penjen. I'm playing Zelda Locke, the space teamster, and I'm extremely excited about it. What about you, Misha?
Hi, I'm Misha B. You can find me on Twitter at BGGameworks or on my website at blackgirlgameworks.com. I will be playing Sarge, who is a space marine, because, why not? How about you, Dom?
I'm Dominique. I use they, them pronouns. You can find me on Twitter at DomSDickey, and I'm playing Dr. Hex Hoffman, a space scientist.
Nice. And that is our whole crew. Let me tell you a little bit about Mars. This is some future date on Mars that we're playing. It is after the first 5 colony ships have landed on Mars. Those ships are now in museums in our colleges on Mars. This takes place after fragments of Planet X have struck Earth, and some years after the machine wars of independence. That's where we're playing. What I'd like to do now is some Mad Libs. Yes.
It should be a thing.
So I was, I'm like, man, I got to come up with all these names, but I'm like, no, we can come up with some of these names. So what I need first is an old, distinguished surname.
Witherspoon.
I like that. Witherspoon.
That's better than my first thought.
All right. And then I need the name of a startup. It's like a lean, hungry startup, and they're in the middle of throwing a Hail Mary to make it all go.
Something solutions.
All right, all right.
I like Parallax.
Parallax Solutions.
Parallax Solutions. I like it. That's perfect. So Mars has probably about a dozen arcologies, right? They're kind of standalone, co-op, kind of independent. There's no planet government. There's no nations. Each of these arcologies are kind of like independent states to themselves. They kind of cooperate at a pragmatic level, right? There's some smaller settlements, and that's pretty much where we're focused today. Is a smaller settlement close to the pole. It's called Awala 4, and I have a map.
Oh,
Snazzy.
I love a
Yes.
good map.
So let me move this around a little bit. You can see Awala 4 is close to the top there. It is point B. It's a small settlement, maybe 300 people. They do 2 things there. It's a way station for folks hauling ice from the poles down to other arcologies. And they're also drilling into the surface for geothermal energy, and they're trying to expand that site. They're using a lot of technologies from Parallax Solutions. I think when we open, we see Dr. Hoffman uh, outside uh, in a Evo suit, outside, kind of like a caravan type vehicle. Um, there's an android um, close by, kind of loading things into that caravan. We know it's an android because it's all a ceramic one color kind of thing. After the Machine Wars, they stop making androids look human. They deliberately make them look more like machines. Um, there's a crowd gathering close to the front of the settlement, and that's where we see Zelda Locke. There's a young man that runs toward Zelda. He might be 20. He looks frantic. He's got some tools and things in his hand, and he's yelling, "Hey, hey, we we didn't start it. We didn't start anything. We didn't start it. We're not striking. We're trying to have a conversation. We're not striking." What does Zelda do as a teamster for
Yeah.
this settlement?
What? Well, who is this guy? Like to me, would
He's
would I believe him? When
so things have
Pretty
been
much
yes, yeah. So things are contentious here. There's a lot of friction with the Teamsters. Um, they want better pay. They want better
Right.
compensation, right? But nothing has gotten rough, physical, or violent, right?
Okay.
But he seems like he's frantic. His name's Nick. Like I said, he's young. He's probably a gopher, right? Go get coffee. Go
Mhm.
get these messages. Go get these tools. Um, but at the moment, he's running at you, just screaming out all kinds of stuff. We didn't
Yeah.
start it.
Okay, calm down. What are you talking about? What happened?
There's a fight near the big bore, the drill. We didn't start it. Security, they started shooting. Um, we were doing everything. We're trying to talk. We want to negotiate. We don't. I mean, we don't want any trouble. We like working here. We just, we want better stuff. We're not fighting. They started it.
Yeah, I'll head over to the place where they're fighting. I have a feeling this is not the first time.
So here's our new map. Here's the settlement, right? And we'll zoom in a little bit here. And then I will bring you guys over. There we go.
Sweet.
I'm going to cut to Sarge. Sarge is on a trooper carrier. There's probably 6 other troops on the carrier. They're all seated in comfortable, form-fitting kind of seats. They're all in their desert battle uniform Evo suits. There is at the head of the seating formation, there's an older woman. She looks like she could easily be somebody's great grandma, right? And she looks like she's napping, right? Her head's kind of down like this, right? And she's been like that for 45 minutes while you folks were on this trip, right? While you're flying out to this Awala 4 settlement. There's a sound, an alarm that kind of lets you know you're about 10 minutes from the landing zone. And that's when she kind of perks up. Her body's like 90% replaced with technology, bionic parts, other cybernetic stuff. And then she stands up. When she stands up, there's some creaking and things like that. Some of that technology's old, but she's a good 7 feet tall. She gives orders, and the other troops, they snap to it. They get up. The seats kind of fold back into the carrier, and they kind of lock themselves in. And then she walks over to you, Sarge, and she says, "I'm counting on you, no matter what happens down there." And then she starts. You've got like a deck where all your badge and medals and things are. It's kind of like an LED panel, and she kind of touches on that, and it kind of responds. She says, "I'm counting on you," while she's tapping in there. Um, I don't know what's going down there. I don't know what's happening down there. I don't very much like security people. I don't like Teamsters. I don't like science. But there's a stealth suit down there, I hear. Bring it back. Bring it back
Ma'am,
for
yes,
me.
ma'am.
She leans in and she says, "I don't care how you do it. Just bring it back."
Ma'am, yes, ma'am.
Oh
She taps
no!
one last time, right? And you can hear pings on all the other different troops that are part of your unit. And she kind of steps away. You go to where you should be in that formation. And there's kind of like a folding sliding door that separates you folks from her. And then that whole piece kind of drops off from the cargo carrier. And it lands where it says Troop Shuttle on the map. When you get there, you can see a crowd of these Teamsters forming around that open area here. And there's a big commotion happening.
All right, try not to shoot anybody you don't have to.
Rule 1, yeah.
Nice. All the troops are under your command. Like I said, there are 6 of them. I will ask you for names as we get there.
Oh, you're gonna make me think of your name. Okay.
Maybe she
Yeah.
didn't want to choose
Fine.
one. Now she has to
Fine.
choose 6.
You're evil. I have a
mean, I
name
can pull up
generator.
a
It's
generator
fine.
and just have it on deck for you.
Uh-oh, did we lose
We
some?
lose
Did we
Misha?
lose
What
Misha?
happened?
Yeah, she dropped right off.
Oh no.
All right, we'll wait for her to come back because I wanted to. Here she comes. I wanted to.
Click the name generator when you're in the StreamYard stream
Mhm.
page.
Nice.
It's fine.
So, Doctor, you're seeing a Marine troop shuttle drop out of the sky.
Yeah.
You've seen this before. You know, anywhere from a dozen to, I don't know, 20 or score or more troops are probably going to pile out of that can any minute. You can see Teamsters kind of also gathering around the same area. You are near your cargo hauler, your ice hauler, with the android. The android's still loading.
Yeah.
What do you think about all this? You have organic compounds you're trying to get back to one of the arcologies as this is happening.
Ooh, I feel like what Hex would want is to sort of avoid the drama as much as possible and just get out of this settlement before any of the violence that is precipitating erupts, and to get our cargo and go. So I think that I would, if it were possible for me to do so without inadvertently hindering or getting in the way, I think I would try to help the android to like speed up packing the cargo hauler so that we can just like get going.
Nice.
So I am now also throwing things into the cargo hauler. But probably, and I feel like Hex is the kind of person who understands that if they were to do it poorly, it'd be worse than not doing it at all. So they are going to help if they can help effectively. So I think I'm being very like methodical and definitely overthinking what I'm doing, but I'm helping.
Nice. I like it. All right. So it's about here where a good dozen of the Teamsters are coming up from the board, from the mine, and they're heading over to Zelda. They seem to be looking for answers from Zelda. Maybe a good 100 yards from them, you can see 4 or 5 of the security team with their weapons out. kind of in step behind them.
Is this like I don't want to say is this a usual thing, because I don't think it's a usual thing, but I also don't necessarily get the impression that it's like never happened before.
Yeah, no, so this is probably the highest level of escalation. I think there were words before,
Okay.
but nothing physical before.
Okay.
This looks like a new level of tension.
Okay.
Of aggression.
And the arcology, is that like a dome? Do we have to like be concerned about, atmosphere going away if weapons are fired?
Oh, smart.
If they're using, and they're not. If they're using
Okay.
like slug weapons, yes, that's an issue.
Okay.
Most of them are using energy weapons or like tasers. The security folks are using tasers.
Okay.
We'll find out what Sarge and Sarge's team has.
Yeah.
They might have something. All the security folks have like non-lethal weapons,
Mm-hmm.
and certainly not slug throwers.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think that I want to try and sort of get to the bottom of what precipitated this, what caused this. Although I hesitate to say that I do that by getting in between the sides, because I don't really want to do that.
Right. You see this happening too, Sarge. You know at some point everyone's going to be in the same space together.
It's going to get ugly. Who seems to be in charge?
Right now on the ground, it looks like it's Zelda.
It's just because I'm old and I've been here forever.
You're the one doing the most yelling.
I probably am. Yeah.
I like wander up to you. Need a hand?
Maybe. I don't know. Unclear. I just got here. I don't know what's happening.
She like puts her thumb and her pinky in and whistles really loud to get everybody's attention.
Nice. I think all the Teamsters, because you're having a conversation with Zelda, they pay attention, and they kind of settle down a little bit. I think the security forces, they slow down, but it doesn't look like their level of aggression has dropped off. They're still approaching. They're just moving a little slower.
I'll tell Sarge, from what I hear, the security forces started it, although I wouldn't call that 100% reliable. Maybe like 85.
Started what? Just general melee?
The violence, I guess? The drawing of weapons? Unclear. I just got here.
I like gesture like the floor is yours. Talk to your people.
The security forces are not my people.
No, I'm talking about the Teamsters. I'll handle the security people.
Okay. I think I kind of want to wait for you to handle the security people because as far as I'm concerned, they're the ones who started it, so they should start the stopping.
So they're just like incoming, though, is what I'm understanding, yes?
Say it again.
The security team is incoming, yes?
Yeah, they're incoming.
So I like just block their path.
Okay. With your whole team, you just insert yourself. Okay, cool, nice.
We're not going to have any violence here today. At least not yet.
Do you say the part out loud?
Yeah.
Of the 4 security folks, one steps ahead of the other 3, and she says, "They've already killed 2 of my men."
I'm sure they'll answer for it. But let's not go with an eye for an eye, because that just leaves a lot of blind people.
I just somebody's got to pay for that.
I don't disagree. How about we find out who did it before we just start beating people, though?
Okay. All right. They stay their distance, right? But they keep their arms out. They don't come any closer, but they seem like they're waiting to see what you're going to do next.
I like turn and look at Locke.
Yeah, and I assume I heard that part, right? Like they're saying
Yeah.
that we killed 2 of them.
Right.
And I start like barking at my Teamsters, and I'm just like, all right, what the fuck, what happened? Who the fuck? And just like F-bombs flying here and there, and just like, somebody better give me answers right the fuck now.
Nice. I think 3 or 4 voices, they're all start talking over each other.
Of course they do.
all
And
at the same time.
I hold a hand up and I point at like one of them.
It's Neil, and he says, "Hey, we were just doing our job down there, trying to expand that hole with the bore. The bore malfunction had started resetting. We started coming up out of the hole, and those guys started shooting at us.
And when
So
did
we
their
ran.
2 guys die?
We didn't. We don't. We're not even armed. I mean, we've got torches and wrenches and things like that, but we don't have firearms or tasers or anything like that. We can't. I mean, what are we fighting with?"
I look at the other people who are going to talk, and I don't necessarily want them to tell their stories, but if they can answer the question of how the 2 security guys died, or security forces died.
Right. So I think this is our first test. You're going to make I believe it's a sanity check or a sanity save, right? Because everybody wants to get their story in.
Yeah.
It's a mess. It's chaotic. And you're trying to piece it all together.
So do I just click on the sanity thing
Yes.
and it will roll it?
Yes. We need your score or lower.
Okay. And it's not advantage or disadvantage, it's just normal?
Yeah, it's just normal.
No, I fail that.
All right. So.
Which makes sense. I really have no idea what's going on.
Yeah. So what happens is you're going to take a point of stress.
Okay.
We'll talk about that in a little bit. What's happening is everyone's talking over each other, but it seems like that none of the Teamsters know why and that's the thing that's clear. They don't know why they were being shot at.
Mm-hmm.
And they all seem to be, no one was alone. You either have a group of 3 or a group of 2. No one was out of sight of each other or anything like that. So it's hard to figure out why the security folks think that the Teamsters killed any of their guys. And the Teamsters don't report a body. They don't know what body or 2 people were killed. So that is the common thread.
Yeah.
But everything else, they're all over the place.
Yeah, I mean, like I'll go back to Sarge and the security force people and say that, listen, none of us killed your people. We were coming out after malfunction like we're supposed to do, and y'all just started shooting at us. I don't know what happened to your 2 guys. You tell me, you prove to me that one of my guys killed them, and then we can have a conversation about it. But until then, as far as we're concerned, we were exiting per procedure, and y'all opened fire on us.
You want to do anything, Sarge?
I'm just looking at the security. It's like, how were your guys killed?
Malta, she's the leader of the security forces there. She says, "Look, we're doing patrols out there, and one of them is down into the bore access paths, and there are 2 of my guys down, dead. We don't normally go down there unless we're patrolling.
Down is a very
down.
general statement. Were they shot? Were they bludgeoned in the head? Were they set on fire with torches? How were they down?
They're sprawled out on the ground, no vital signs. As she says that, you can see two other security guys kind of bringing bodies on a sled back this way. She says, "I don't know how they did it. They're not bleeding out or anything, but they're dead. I checked their vital signs. And
So
we
you
use a med
just
scanner."
assumed that we did it and started threatening us. You just assumed.
Yeah, you guys were down there. This is it's not unheard of that you Teamsters, right? You know how you folks are. You don't get your way. You throw a temper
Says the
tantrum.
people
I just
who've
like
drawn
walk
weapons
over
on
to
us.
where the bodies are and like take a look at them. Like, are there signs of trauma? Or I mean, what does it look like happened to these people?
Nice. Now we're gonna make a skill check.
Sick.
Biology? I don't know. I kill things. Military training. I know how to kill things. How
So
is
what'll
this
so what'll happen is it'll be an intellect check, right? If you have like first aid, biology, they'll bump up that score. But if you don't, it's just whatever's under your intellect or lower.
All right.
Is there a helping? Because I do have first aid, but I don't know if there's helping in this game.
There is well, yeah, we can make that work. That means she's gonna roll with advantage, right?
Oh, cool.
What does that look like when you're helping?
Yeah, I mean, I think I just go over there and I stand next to her as she's examining them, and I'm like, "Oh yeah, that's from that machine." Blah blah blah, whatever. Like I know all the machines here. I know the situation here. So,
right. And when you, as a Teamster, get close to the dead security body, so does Malta and maybe two other security.
Sure.
Folks, right.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect. Otherwise.
I'm not touching the body. Like I'm not threatening in any way. I'm just
right.
providing commentary.
So I think that's a fail.
Oh yeah. Oh. So what you see is it's easy to check. He's got the two bodies have no pulse, right? That's easy to see. There's no scarring. There's no bleeding. There's no bruises. But there's no heartbeat either. There's no breathing. So they're lifeless. They're dead. But there's no obvious trauma, no physical trauma on the outside of the body that you can see.
So it doesn't look like anything was done to them that I can tell. So how about we get like your medic or something to look them over and find out how they died before we start shooting other people?
Malta says the other body, that is the medic.
You have one medic for this entire facility? Really?
That's all they paid for. This is, that was the contract.
Do you have?
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Do you have any biologists or scientists or anybody who knows anything about first aid?
She says, "Look, we're not big fancy Marines. We're just security folks out in the middle of nowhere, right? Doing a patrol job. That's it. I didn't come out here to get murdered by Teamsters."
I love how you jump to murder instead of, I don't know, hey, look, his air supply got cut off. I mean, there's no marks on this guy, and you jump to murder?
I want to cut over to Dr. Hex.
All right.
So the android is working as fast and as it can, loading, and you're helping.
Yeah.
Two of the security folks circumvent that whole mess that's happening in the middle of the settlement. They're coming straight towards you. One of them has like some goggles in his hand, and he says, "Hey, you're one of those parallax people, right? Can you take a look at this? I think I got a glitch in here. Can you fix this? I mean, you guys made this, right? And we've been sending notes and stuff in to support on these goggles. And can you take a look at this?
Sure. Yeah. Why not?
Right. So he says, I will run the feed, so you can see, right? And then maybe you can tell somebody and they can upgrade our equipment or something, because I think y'all don't believe us. So he says, so we're looking through here, and he gives you the goggles to look
Okay.
at. And he says, so I'm gonna run this back, right? And you're gonna see like some of my guys, right? And then you'll see that it glitches. You'll see. And what you see is two security folks kind of walking down the bore. The bore is just a great big hole,
Yeah.
and it's got kind of a walkway around the outskirts of it, spiraling down where the drill doesn't go. And you see them kind of walking down. They don't go all the way down. They kind of walk part way, and then they come right back up. And they kind of get to the end where they're of their patrol path, and then they turn around to come back. And they're kind of arguing. You can see that in the body language. There's no sound, but you can see that in the body language between the two of them. They're kind of arguing back and forth. And one of them throws their hands up, right? But then you see the screen around the other one. There is kind of a glitch kind of thing. There's a weird pixelation of the one figure's body, but the other one's fine, right? And then you see that one drop, right? And then the same thing happens to the other guy, and then that one drops.
And there's no Teamsters around them at the time this happens.
Right.
I
But
think
only Dr. Hex is looking at this, right? Because Dr.
Yeah.
Hex is away from the crowd. But yes,
Yeah.
it's just just those two security people. I will also now need from Dr. Hex a sanity check.
All right, let's go. If I click it, it rolls it, right? I'm just gonna click on it.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Oh. Not good.
Oh, yeah, there it is. So that will be a point of stress for you also. What I will tell you is, that's not, whether you work for Parallax or not, right? You've got enough science behind you to understand that that's not a glitch or a defect in the technology there. That's something that the technology couldn't render, right? It did the best it could with what actually happened there.
Yeah.
And that's what you got, right? So something else happened, and that's the rendering of it through those goggles. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I would immediately ask, like, whose goggles is the footage from?
And he says, it's mine. They're mine.
So you were like watching when this happened?
Yeah, I was probably, I don't know, 100, 150 yards from them up at the top as they were coming back up.
You didn't see anything other than what appears on this footage?
No, that's it. That's it.
Huh.
Do you think those Teamsters got some kind of stealth suit, like they say?
I wouldn't know anything about that. I'm just trying to figure out what might be wrong with the goggles. And then I think I would like say something that's kind of like I feel like Dominique, I'm not smart enough, but like Hex would say something that's like, like just like message tech support again and we'll expedite your ticket and like hand them back.
All right. Well, so okay. When do you guys think you could get this fixed for us or something?
Oh man.
So you give him no indication
all over in my apartment. That was terrifying. Yeah, no indication of like of timeline. Just
Gotcha.
of the fact that like, yeah, I'll see what I can do. Sure.
All right.
I'll try. And then I think that I'm trying to figure out how much would I have overheard of what's been happening like near where Sarge and Zelda are. Like, do I know that they're talking about like these two dead security workers? Like, would I make the connection of like that?
I think at this point you do, yeah, because you definitely from the goggle footage, you've got 2 bodies that are dead, right?
Okay. Then I think I would
and you
also ask if they showed the footage to anyone else.
And he says, "Nah, we were coming up. We're gonna go join that mess, but the captain's got that under control. We saw you over here, and we just figured, you're one of those Parallax people. You could probably help us out.
Okay.
Most of the time, we get the AI on the vid, but you're right here, so."
Yeah, makes sense. Ooh, what would I do next? Oh man, this is so stressful. I kind of decide, do I want to like approach like where Sarge and Zelda are yet, or like in character, would I do that yet?
Right.
Have you tried turning it off and back on again?
That's right.
Would you like to come take the hornet's nest, please?
I know I just gave the goggles back, but I think I actually, can I hold on to these for a second?
Yeah, he said, this is probably it. They're probably going to pull a contract. So if you want to hang on to those, especially if it helps you speed up fixing them, you can hang on to them.
Yeah, I'll take them. And then I would
Go back to the barracks.
Cool. Thank you.
And they do. The 2 of them start to head to the north and east, over to where they're kind of barracks at. I think one of your troops, Sarge, wants your attention, but they don't want to they don't want everyone to hear what they want to say to you. Let's name that trooper, and then I'll tell you what they tell you.
That's Woods.
Woods?
Yep.
All right. So Woods is trying to get your attention.
I step over with them.
Sarge, we've been listening to all the radio communication at the settlement. We can't hear a whole lot of the Teamsters. They've got a bunch of different channels going, but we can definitely hear the security folks. And I think there's a fight about to kick off. And he points out to the west, to where they have a series of buildings already set up. Some of them are probably residential buildings. Some of them are probably science-y buildings, things like that. He says, yeah, they're setting up some kind of ambush or something over there.
Ambush for who?
I think there are more Teamsters over there. Oh yeah, it's happening now. It's going down right now.
Awesome. I look at the security chief. Oi! Dipshit! I thought you said you had your people under control.
Well, there's some still on patrol, but if I pull them all in, then this base is unsecure.
Then how are they ambushing other people over there? And I point.
She said, look, we have a very strict code of conduct and rules of engagement. They don't fight unless, they're being attacked. So if there's something happening, we didn't start it.
I give them the glare. Put the captain here in the brig for me.
And she hands her weapon off to someone else, and she puts her hands out like that.
Anybody would like to join her? Good. Hand over your weapons to my people. We've got it from here.
And they do. I mean, there's nobody pushes back or anything, right? They're like, whatever, right? And they do in that smug, defiant kind of attitude.
Dixon, Shepard, Woods, go investigate. I would like the heads of anybody who resists.
Nice. And they do. They hustle off under your command.
I take the security intercom. I assume they have some sort of communicator.
Yeah.
This is your new captain speaking. Please lay down your weapons. You will find Marines incoming to your location in about 3, 2, 1. Any resistance will be met with brutal resistance. So, if you could please, just hand over your weapons and nobody will have to get hurt today. Thank you for talking, and welcome to the friendly skies.
Nice, nice. Zelda and Dr. Hex, what are you both up to right now?
I feel like I would pause and watch the video again just to be like, see if I can figure out like what is actually going on here.
Yeah,
and then would sort of walk over towards the cluster of people, trying to figure out who's in charge, which I think would bring me to Zelda.
Gotcha. Let's stay with that for a second. So you're going to, by yourself, standing there, go right back through the footage of those videos of that
Yes.
That's in those goggles, trying to figure out what's actually happening there.
Yes.
I like it. I just wanted to be clear. I'm going to bring up Dr. Hex Hoffman's sheet so we can kind of take a look at what's happening there.
Okay. I get so nervous when he pulls up sheets.
Yes, I just like looking at them. They're beautiful. Look at that.
They're gorgeous. This is so stressful for me.
Yes, I like the popovers, right?
Yeah.
I like, yes. So you're gonna take 1 point of stress right now.
Oh, good God.
Because I'm gonna tell you something. I'm gonna tell you something good. So I think you're watching it. Sometimes I get hooked on a piece of a film or movie or whatever, and you kind of rewind it and you watch it again, and you're like, man, I missed some things in there, and you keep doing that. I feel like maybe you're studying it in that form, right?
Okay.
In that way as a scientist. And I think what you come up with is the way the images are pixelated. It looks like something hit that body, right? And then something came out the backside of that body, and then got sucked back into the body. Then the body fell, right? And it happens to both those individuals, right? The footage you're looking at doesn't show it, but wherever it is it's pixelated, right? And so you can kind of see some pixelation occur just before the whole body is pixelated. And then, like I said, there's a little bit that comes out the backside. But then it gets sucked right back into the body, and then the body just drops.
Okay. I'm imagining the sound that a body would make when it goes like, and that's not pleasant. Like probably like a slurping sound.
The other unsettling thing is when it's occurring, because it's not simultaneous, right? When it happens to the first body, right? Because it looks like they're arguing back and forth, right? When it happens to the first body, the other person, their reaction is like they didn't even see anything other than that body just drop, right? There's no other reaction, right? So whatever is there, right, they couldn't see it. That's what you deduce from that.
That's really spooky. It's almost like this is a horror game. I feel so creeped out right now. Oh my God. I think that, well, that's what I know. And then I think the next question is, what do I do with what I know? And I think that I'd be like, who the hecky is in charge here? Like, would anyone know what is going on? And I think that I would see that Zelda is the person that people are listening to.
I feel like I'm certainly shouting at a lot of my people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have to say I feel like Zelda's in charge too.
I feel like I would like stand kind of behind you or flank you and just like wait for a gap. Like I wouldn't like approach you. Like,
Okay.
if you're like going around yelling at people, I would not like be like try to like get in your way or try to interrupt you. I feel like I would wait for an opening and then I'd be like, hey, you in charge?
Yeah. I think before I see you, I'm like talking to my people, trying to get the story, trying to get the info of like who of us is hurt or missing or whatever. Yeah. And at some point, there's like a pause, and that's when, oh, who are you?
Dr. Hex Hoffman, I'm a scientist. I've got something that you should see. Those brought to my attention by one of your guys, but I want to talk you through it before I show it to you, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And then I would probably like to I don't know, go somewhere less surrounded by people. I'll be
Yeah, that's fine. I'm sure I have a room somewhere or whatever.
Or even if it's just back
office.
towards my cargo carrier, just out of the immediate crowd.
Okay.
I think I would explain to you that one of your Teamsters thought I was from Parallax and brought me these goggles thinking I could repair them. I agreed to look at the footage that was anomalous on them to see if I could actually be helpful. There is an anomaly on the footage. It has to do with 2 security members dying, and from what I overheard, that's something that you've been dealing with the fallout from recently. So I thought that I would show this to you, but the cause of death and the manner of death is very unclear. It looks like a glitch, and it looks like these 2 men had no idea what hit them. And you can tell that where it appears to be a glitch on the camera goggles, it's actually not a glitch. It's that the camera is trying to render something that it is unable to effectively render. So whatever killed these 2 security workers is probably not visible to the human eye, and is also not, the cameras can't parse it. And then I would just give you the goggles.
Okay.
So where's Sarge when all this is happening? You guys kind of step away from where the Marines and Sarge is to have that conversation? Is that right?
We can retcon that Sarge came with. I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
I just want to tell someone who's in charge and can do something about it, because I'm not.
I mean, I think if Sarge isn't here after the first time I watch it, I will call Sarge over.
That's it.
Gotcha. All right. That's
So
really
Sarge
right.
is going to get the whole
Perfect.
spiel regardless. Sarge is going to know what's up.
Yeah.
Perfect. And you watch it too, Sarge, right?
Huh.
So I need 2 more
Sanity checks.
Sorry.
sanity checks.
Yeah.
One from Sarge and one from Zelda.
Nope.
I fail again. I'm very stressed.
That's right. That's a
You're
point of
having a very
stress.
stressful day, Zelda.
Leave it to a system where I want to roll low, and that's when I roll high.
Yeah.
I'm telling you,
Yes,
Dice Rollers
exactly.
hate us. Absolutely hate us. Well, I think that's fairly definitive proof that it wasn't the Teamsters.
Yeah. My question has there been any other anomalies in the area or any other suspicious incidents that could be related to this, so that we can establish a sort of pattern to figure out what's going on? Because I think it's hard to assess what this is, only seeing it happen in one isolated incident. And I think that, not that I'm not saying that I want this to happen to more people, but I'm saying if similar, less fatal things have happened, we could maybe establish a pattern and figure out what is causing it.
All the goggles record?
Do they? I think so.
Say it again. I'm sorry.
Is it do all the goggles record?
Yes.
Get an AI to look through the footage. See if there's any other glitches.
Yeah, because the AI would parse those glitches. And I know that you've had people, your workers, complaining about malfunctions, right? It seemed like the one who approached me, it seemed like it was a pretty common issue among the team. So people I feel like if we ask the workers who most frequently wear the goggles, we can ask them, have they had any issues? And then maybe I could say, that I'm, working to, fix the glitches, but I'm actually just trying to get a feel for what's going on. If that seems all right with you.
This being the future, I'd like to think Sarge has some amount of augmentation to track your troops. So I think maybe there's a heads-up display that only you can see in your vision. You first see 3 dots. They go from green to yellow, and then from yellow to red, and it happens pretty fast. That lets you know that Woods, Dixon, and Shepard are dead.
Excuse me?
Crap. You see, she like snaps to alert real fast, like while this is happening, and then she like yells for. I guess I got to pick 3 more names now. Killing me. I'm running out of names. Steele, Moore, Lincoln, with me, and like starts running in the direction that they went to.
Oh no. Oh, this is already so spicy. I don't know what to do with myself. This is already so stressful, and it's been less than an hour.
It's only been 51 minutes and 53 seconds.
I'm so stressed.
I'm trying to get that body count up.
I know. So far we're at what, 5?
So what I want to say is normally in Mothership, when you see a crew member die, you have to make a panic check. But I kind of hard drop that on you. So I'm just going to make that a stress point for Sarge.
Okay.
In lieu of the panic check right now. I feel like that'd be unfair for me to do that since you didn't really have a whole lot of options there. I just killed them.
We are a bunch of stressed people.
I know.
No.
So Zelda and Dr. Hex, you see Sarge run off with 3
You
troops.
know what that's about?
I do not.
Well, I guess all we
You
can do
see arms up, by the way.
Oh,
Mhm.
God.
I can't imagine it's good.
I guess all we can do is ask your people who's been having any sort of malfunction with the goggles and try to feed that data through the AI, or I can sort some of it manually and see if there's anything, if we can figure out. I personally, out of scientific curiosity, would like to know what happened. But also, I heard that they were coming down pretty hard on your guys, and I would like to avoid that to the extent that I can help. Is just to be clear about my motivation here. If you could get that footage from me, that'd be great.
I think I actually laugh at that, which might be the first time I've laughed in a minute. Okay, let's get you some goggles.
Yeah, for science.
And I'll like bully all of my people. Even if they're not my people, I will bully them into giving us all their goggles.
Cool.
Nice. So there's Everett Tower. You can see that on the map. And that's kind of the control center for the whole settlement. All the communications from everywhere else come in here. You have other scientists. There's a med lab in there. There's some engineers that help keep the big bore mine, the big bore drill going. They're in there. Your computer stuff's in there. I think the Teamsters are fine. I think they hand over, and for the most part, they do whatever you ask of them, Zelda.
Mm-hmm.
There's a small group that have gathered, and they look like they armed themselves as best they could, and they're headed in the direction that Sarge had already left for.
Where do you think you're going? What's going on?
And Neil said, there's a fight going on, right? We're not going to leave our Teamsters out there to get murdered by those thugs. We're not doing that.
Fine. Go get yourself murdered. I don't care. Whatever. I'm not responsible for you. You're a grown-ass adult.
Nice. We are coming up on an hour. I'm going to leave us with one closing scene, and then we'll take a break. Is that cool?
Yep.
And then we'll find out if my StreamYard does it have a pause screen, because I don't know.
We'll have to see. It'll be spicy. I
We'll
don't know why I
learn
keep
together.
using that word to describe everything
One way
that's
or
like
another.
vaguely interesting today, but yeah.
So I think Sarge, it takes you maybe 15 minutes to hustle, and you guys are running over to where you lost your troops. And you get there, and the buildings are kind of tight, right? But it's a mess. You can see as you step onto that main street into that collection of buildings, you can see immediately dead Teamsters, dead Marines, and dead security people just littered across the street there.
Like, when you say dead, do you mean just like they fell over and they're dead, like the guys that were on the thingies, or they're like obvious signs of violence?
Carnage.
Yeah, it's a mix, right? So there was some shooting, there were shots fired, right? So it's a mix of those things, right? And I think when we get back, we'll sort through that carnage.
Oh, maybe there's footage.
There probably is. I'm sure the other Marines had heads-up displays of some sort.
Nice.
I want to see
For the folks
what-
at home, we are going to take a bio break. I think like 10 minutes. Is that good? Is it 10 minutes?
Yeah.
Is that
Sounds
what
good.
we do? Yeah. And then we will be back